The path to success is rarely straightforward. Whether in our personal lives, careers, or pursuits, the journey is often long and filled with challenges, obstacles, and setbacks. While we may begin with enthusiasm and determination, it's easy to lose steam when things don't go as planned. Emotional endurance, the ability to stay the course and maintain resilience in the face of adversity, is crucial for a long-term success. But in a world that often celebrates quick wins and instant results, how can we develop the emotional fortitude to keep going when the going gets tough? Marcus Aurelius provides a powerful Stoic reminder. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This insight teaches us that obstacles are not obstacles at all. They are opportunities for growth. Stoicism encourages us to view every challenge as a chance to build emotional endurance and strengthen our resolve, turning difficulties into stepping stones towards success. In this video, we will explore how Stoic principles can help us develop the emotional endurance necessary to overcome long-term challenges, stay resilient, and ultimately achieve lasting success. Marcus Aurelius offers us a powerful perspective on adversity with his quote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This Stoic wisdom teaches us that obstacles are not barriers to success but pathways to it. Instead of viewing challenges as something to avoid or overcome at all costs, Marcus encourages us to embrace them as opportunities for growth and strengthening our character. The Stoic mindset is rooted in the idea that emotional endurance, the ability to persevere in the face of difficulty, is a vital part of success. When we encounter obstacles, instead of becoming discouraged or frustrated, we can choose to see them as stepping stones toward greater achievement. The roadblocks we face are often the very things that push us forward, teaching us valuable lessons about patience, resilience, and the power of persistence. Marcus Aurelius' quote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way," is one of the most powerful lines in all of Stoic philosophy. It completely flips how we normally see obstacles. Instead of viewing problems as signs that we're off track, Stoicism teaches that the obstacle is the track. What blocks us isn't there to stop us. It's there to shape us in real life. The road to any meaningful goal, building a career, improving your health, nurturing a relationship, growing a channel like the Stoic way, is long. Motivation comes and goes. Results are often slow. Setbacks are guaranteed. What separates those who quit from those who succeed is not talent or luck, but emotional endurance, the capacity to keep going, intact in spirit, even when the progress is invisible. How we usually see obstacles, most of us are conditioned to think, if this is so hard, maybe it's not meant to be. If I feel tired, discouraged, or doubtful, something must be wrong. From a Stoic perspective, this is backwards. Stoicism says, of course it's hard. That's why it's meaningful. Of course you're tested. That's how you grow. The Stoic doesn't expect an easy path. Instead, they expect resistance and prepare their mind to face it. That mindset is what creates emotional endurance. Emotional endurance. A Stoic definition, emotional endurance isn't about never feeling tired, sad, disappointed, or discouraged. It's about continuing to act according to your values. Even when your emotions are loud, staying committed to the path. Even when progress is slow, using obstacles as training, not as excuses for the Stoics. Every difficulty is a gym for the mind. The obstacle is where you practice resilience, patience, humility, creativity, and courage. How Stoicism builds emotional endurance, reframing obstacles as training when something goes wrong. A plan fails, numbers drop, a project stalls. Instead of thinking, Why is this happening to me? The Stoic asks. What is this trying to teach me? Which virtue can I practice right now? Patience, courage, discipline, humility. This shift in perspective turns frustration into fuel the moment you see an obstacle as part of the process. It loses much of its power to break you, focusing on what you can control on a long journey. So much is out of your control. Timing, other people's reactions, external opportunities, luck. Stoicism brings you back to what is always in your control. Your effort, your discipline, your attitude, your choices today. Emotional endurance grows when you stop obsessing over outcomes and start anchoring yourself in daily actions. You might not control when success comes, but you control whether you keep showing up, accepting discomfort as normal, not as a signal to quit. Long-term goals require boredom, repetition, plateaus, and uncertainty. Stoicism teaches that discomfort isn't a sign that you're failing. It is a sign that you're actually doing the work. When you expect the journey to be hard, you're no longer shocked when it is. That simple expectation reduces emotional drama and helps you endure. Practicing daily, not occasionally. Stoic endurance is built in small, repeated choices. Doing the work even when you don't feel like it, staying calm when plans change, returning to your routine after a bad day instead of spiraling over tea. These small acts form a kind of inner toughness. You start to trust yourself, even when it gets hard. I know I don't break. I bend, but I don't quit. That trust is the core of emotional endurance. Seeing setbacks as feedback, not failure when something doesn't work. Most people see failure. The Stoic sees information. What can I adjust? What did this reveal about my assumptions? How can I move forward smarter, not just harder? This mindset prevents emotional collapse when things don't go as planned. Instead of, it didn't work, I'm down, it becomes, it didn't work. Now I know why. Let's adapt. The inner shift from why me to try me. At some point on the long road to any meaningful goal, you will be tired, discouraged, and tempted to quit. Stoicism doesn't deny that. It simply asks you to answer one question. Will I let this obstacle define my limit, or will I let it refine my character? When you adopt Marcus Aurelius' perspective, what stands in the way becomes the way. You stop seeing problems as detours and start seeing them as the very material of your growth. That's emotional endurance, not blind stubbornness, but calm, rational persistence, guided by virtue, grounded in reality, and powered by the understanding that the long path is where you become who you are meant to be. The road to success is never straight. Whether it's career advancement, personal growth, or achieving long-term goals, the path is often filled with setbacks, uncertainties, and obstacles that challenge our patience and perseverance. In a world that glorifies instant results and quick fixes, we often find ourselves frustrated when things don't progress as fast as we want. However, Stoicism teaches us that the key to long-term success lies not in seeking shortcuts, but in cultivating emotional endurance, the ability to persist through challenges with calm, rationality, and resolve. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound Stoic thought teaches us that obstacles are not hindrances, but opportunities for growth. Emotional endurance is the practice of continuing despite difficulty, learning from setbacks, and staying focused on long-term goals. No matter how hard the journey gets, the temptation of instant gratification in today's world. Instant gratification has become the standard. We want quick success, immediate rewards, and fast results. We're taught to expect quick wins, whether it's in our professional lives, personal development, or even our relationships. This cultural focus on the immediate payoff makes emotional endurance even more challenging. The problem with instant gratification is that true success in anything worth pursuing requires consistent effort and delayed rewards. Emotional endurance means pushing forward despite the lack of instant results. It's about resisting the urge to give up when progress feels slow, knowing that persistence over time will ultimately lead to success. The Stoics recognize that growth is slow and steady, and that the true reward lies in building resilience through continued effort. They taught us that endurance is not about rushing toward the finish line, but about engaging fully with the journey, even when it's hard. The Stoic approach to building emotional endurance reframe obstacles as opportunities for growth. The Stoic mindset shifts the way we view obstacles. Instead of seeing setbacks as sign that we're on the wrong path, we learn to see them as necessary challenges that push us to develop greater resilience and strength. Every difficulty becomes an opportunity to practice virtue, whether it's patience, discipline, courage, or perseverance. By reframing obstacles as part of the growth process, we stop feeling defeated and start feeling empowered. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics believed in the dichotomy of control, the idea that we cannot control external events, but we can control our responses to them. When faced with difficulty, we often feel overwhelmed because we think we need to control everything around us. Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what is within our power, our attitudes, decisions, and actions. This shift in focus brings clarity and calm, allowing us to persist with a clear mind and steady resolve. Embrace the process, not just the outcome in the pursuit of long-term goals. It's easy to get discouraged by the lack of immediate results. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the process, rather than obsessing over the outcome. The Stoics understood that growth and success are the results of consistent effort, not immediate rewards. By embracing the journey, we can take pride in the effort we put forth every day, rather than getting caught up in the distant goal. Patience and perseverance are the real keys to success. Practice daily reflection and self-discipline. The Stoics practiced daily self-reflection to ensure they were on track. They would ask themselves, did I act with virtue today? Did I stay focused on my long-term goals? This practice helped them course-correct when needed and remain steadfast in their efforts. Similarly, when building emotional endurance, self-discipline is essential. By sticking to our routines, committing to our goals, and staying consistent, we build the emotional fortitude necessary for long-term success. Accept that failure is part of the journey. Emotional endurance also requires us to accept failure. In a world that often rewards success and punishes failure, it's easy to become discouraged by mistakes. However, the Stoics saw failure as a learning experience. Instead of quitting when we fail, we're encouraged to reflect on what went wrong, learn from the experience, and keep going. The ability to bounce back from failure with even greater determination is what ultimately leads to lasting success. The reward of emotional endurance is not about never feeling tired, discouraged, or frustrated. It's about keeping going, even when those emotions rise. The Stoics believed that true success comes from remaining steadfast, even in the face of adversity. By practicing self-control, resilience, and self-discipline, we build the emotional endurance necessary to achieve long-term success. The path to success is rarely easy, but when we embrace emotional endurance, we turn obstacles into opportunities, challenges into growth, and setbacks into stepping stones. Through consistent effort, focused determination, and Stoic wisdom, we can endure the challenges that come our way and ultimately reach our goals stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. As we conclude today's exploration of building emotional endurance for long-term success, remember that success is a journey, not a destination, in a world that often promotes quick results and instant gratification. Stoicism teaches us that true growth comes from enduring through challenges and staying committed to our values, even when the road gets tough. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This Stoic perspective invites us to embrace obstacles as opportunities to grow, rather than as setbacks that prevent us from moving forward. The path to success is not a straight line. It's filled with obstacles, uncertainty, and setbacks. But by developing emotional endurance, we can turn these challenges into growth and progress. So, as you pursue your goals, ask yourself, am I staying the course, even when things get difficult? Am I embracing the process, trusting that every step, no matter how slow, is taking me closer to success? By practicing Stoic principles like self-discipline, resilience, and patience, you will build the emotional endurance necessary to achieve lasting success and fulfillment. Thank you for joining us today. If this video resonated with you, subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from developing the emotional endurance to stay the course together. Let's embrace the Stoic path of steadfast progress and long-term growth.